Well, I'm gonna be honest here. I was wrong about Invincible. I talk a lot of shit about movies and shows, but this was one show that I did not expect to be making a video about. See, I made a tweet talking about how I was not going to watch the show and it looked pretty stupid, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't want to watch it. But I got bored one night and I put it on just to see what it was about, and yeah, I kind of like it. In this video, I'm going to talk about Season 1 and Season 2, and to be honest with you, Season 1 to me is a little shorter. I have a lot of things to say about Season 2, so yeah, let's talk about it. So Season 1 for me was really weird. See, I went into this looking at it completely different. I didn't think this show was going to start very action-packed or very interesting. I thought there was going to be something to build up on, and it would kind of go from there. But no, within the first like 10 minutes, there's all kinds of action, and we get to see one of the main characters. Which, yes, I understand Omni-Man is technically not a main character, but he's shown a lot, okay? So what is he, like a co-lead, co-main? I don't really know. I find it kind of funny that I didn't want to watch this show originally because I love J.K. Simmons. He's one of my favorite actors of all time, and it's kind of funny that he's voicing Omni-Man because I really couldn't imagine anyone else voicing Omni-Man. The voice acting in this show is amazing. There's so many good actors and characters in this show. I couldn't imagine Steven Yeun doing anyone else except Invincible. I think that he fits perfect in that role, and each actor plays their character perfectly. I love it. The best thing in this show is definitely the characters. The characters in this show are by far some of the best first-time characters that I've seen in a very long time. Mark is a very lovable character. He's someone that you kind of just relate to immediately. Now, there is a lot of characters in here. I mean, almost too much. But overall, I think they handle it pretty decent, especially near the last couple of episodes. I think it's thinned out pretty well. Now, that's not to say that some characters don't fall flat, because, well, a couple of them do. I think Amber is a character that is very flat, and to be honest with you, I think it's mainly how she was set up from the start. She was set up to be a very egotistical person, and she kind of never evolves from that. I mean, of course, she's dating Mark, and she does do better in that aspect, but we don't really see anything else personal of her unless it's with Mark most of the time. I mean, I guess you could say it's a nitpick, but that's just my personal reason for not really liking her character that much. Now, just besides Mark and Omni-Man, there is a couple of other characters that I think are pretty decent. Eve is a very good character. I think there's a lot of good moments with her in this story. She has some good moments and some bad moments, but most of them are good. Now, of course, the main thing about Season 1 is the ending, the final fight between Omni-Man and Invincible. Now, of course, the finale of Season 1 was really good, and I gotta say, it set up Season 2 perfectly. The final fight between Omni-Man and Invincible is amazing and really emotional, and honestly, it might be the best episode of the season. So, I guess with all that being said, I would say Season 1 of Invincible is a solid 8 out of 10. So Season 2 was pretty good. There's a lot of drama in this season, and there's a lot of cool things in here that I didn't really expect to be in this. Like, for once, they took out Omni-Man and kind of left him to do his own thing for like 3 or 4 episodes. Mark is finally on his own, doing his own thing, and I kind of like that more. I mean, I like Omni-Man, don't get me wrong, but I like it where it's more grounded with Mark. Now, of course, I will say that the main villain isn't the best villain. I mean, he's definitely powerful, don't get me wrong, but he's just not the most menacing. He kind of looks like a nerd, if I'm being honest. So, now this season isn't awful by any means. I do think it is a step down from Season 1. I think the animation is a tad bit better, and it doesn't look as choppy in some scenes. However, I am going to say that this show does have a big issue. I didn't notice it as much in Season 1, but Season 2, it kind of kicked up a lot. There's too many subplots in this season. There's so many things going on throughout the season that it really makes you lose focus of characters like Omni-Man. Most of the season, you don't really care or even really think about him as much. I don't really like that. There's too much going on in each episode, which kind of makes me think that the release schedule has a little bit to do with that. I think they had a lot of time to incorporate a lot of things in Part 1 and Part 2, and I think that splitting it in 2 halves, it really made the episodes bigger, and it didn't really benefit the show as much. However, one thing that I think this show did do really well is Eve. Now, from the first season, we kind of knew that Mark had something for Eve, and vice versa, or at least something was there. And of course, they could have easily just done it. They could have put both of them together and have them do everything together, but they didn't, which is good. It makes Eve's character feel more grounded to the show, and not that she's just there to date Mark. I actually like her the same as I do with Mark. I think they're both very good characters in this season, which I can't say the same for Amber. And of course, with the main villain, I do think that Engstrom was pretty underdeveloped, and he really didn't feel like a huge threat throughout the season. There is a lot of other villains that can be incorporated into season 3, and I'm not really worried. I think that season 3 could be very good. Now, I will say, I am really wanting more from Invincible. I don't like the release schedule. I think that's pretty stupid, but I hope that they keep on getting a better budget and they keep on doing better things with the show. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that season 2 of Invincible was a solid 7 out of 10.